It was a moment no one anticipated, a scene that stunned thousands in attendance and left millions questioning what they had just witnessed. Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, broke down in uncontrollable tears the instant Jin, the group's eldest and most stoic member, spoke one word: sorry. Why would Jin, in a moment already charged with emotions, choose to apologize publicly? And why did Jungkook react with such overwhelming sorrow, collapsing under the weight of his own feelings? The incident has sparked a storm of speculation, and its significance goes far beyond a single performance. Observers describe the silence in the arena just before Jin spoke as unbearable. Moments earlier, the crowd had been roaring, waving banners, and singing in unison. Yet, when Jin suddenly paused, lowered his gaze, and let that heavy word slip from his lips, the atmosphere transformed instantly. Jungkook, who stood only steps away, was visibly shaken, his lips trembling before his tears broke free. Cameras captured his face as he tried to look away, but the intensity of the moment betrayed his effort. The youngest member of BTS, usually so composed under pressure, could not restrain himself. The question remains, what was Jin apologizing for? The depth of Jungkook's reaction suggests that this was not a casual exchange of words. His sobbing was not the restrained kind familiar in emotionally charged performances. It was raw, unguarded, and deeply personal. ARMY in the crowd shouted words of encouragement, yet many themselves were crying uncontrollably. Videos recorded by fans show entire sections of the arena wiping their tears simultaneously. The event transcended the boundaries of a typical concert. It became a collective moment of vulnerability, of shared humanity between artist and audience. But to truly understand this scene, one must ask, why would Jin, known for his resilience and carefully measured demeanor, feel compelled to apologize? Some speculate it was an apology directed at Jungkook personally, perhaps referencing the burdens the younger member had carried during the group's years of relentless schedules. Others suggest Jin's words were broader, an apology to ARMY for the hardships, delays, or even the unavoidable separations caused by their military service and individual pursuits. Yet the fact remains, the immediate and devastating effect it had on Jungkook reveals layers of unspoken emotion that demand closer analysis. Critics argue that the emotional collapse could be tied to unresolved tension between the members, hidden beneath the polished surface of their public image. Jungkook's tears seemed less like a response to a theatrical gesture and more like an eruption of long-suppressed feelings. Was this an acknowledgement of guilt, regret, or perhaps a reconciliation long overdue? For ARMY, the ambiguity has only deepened their emotional attachment to the moment. They are left with fragments of truth, hints of something bigger, and an unresolved question: what lies beneath the apology? The symbolic weight of the word sorry, in this context, cannot be ignored. Coming from Jin, a figure who has often carried himself with quiet dignity, the apology hit harder than any elaborate speech could have. It was not lengthy, not dressed in explanations, but stark and unfiltered. That brevity magnified its force. And when paired with Jungkook's response, it created a tableau of raw emotion so powerful that it has already entered the collective memory of BTS's history. Social media erupted within minutes, flooded with clips, translations, and theories. Some fans insisted it was a private moment unintentionally exposed to the public, while others viewed it as an intentional message, a deliberate act of catharsis between Jin and Jungkook. Hashtags trended worldwide, yet the frenzy only amplified the mystery. Was it truly spontaneous, or was it part of a narrative the group wanted to share with their fans? And if so, why choose such a painful expression of vulnerability? Behind the storm of reactions, however, lies a deeper issue: the fragility of human connection within the unforgiving machinery of global fame. BTS has long been admired not only for their artistry, but also for the authenticity of their bond. Yet authenticity, by definition, is not always beautiful. It includes moments of fracture, of guilt, of apology. Jin's apology may have been brief, but in that instant, it revealed the cracks beneath the glittering exterior. Jungkook's tears only reinforced the reality. Even idols cannot escape the weight of unspoken truths. For ARMY present that night, the emotional collapse became almost unbearable to witness. Some later described it as both heartbreaking and healing, a paradox that reflected the complex dynamic between BTS and their fans. To watch Jungkook cry so openly was to confront the reality that their idols are not immune to sorrow. To hear Jin say sorry was to be reminded that even global icons wrestle with regret. The question remains whether this moment was intended as a closure, a confession, or an open wound laid bare for all to see. As the footage circulates, the debate continues. Was this an act of personal reconciliation between two members witnessed by millions, or was it a symbolic statement directed outward, toward ARMY and the world? There is no official answer, and perhaps that is what keeps the moment so haunting. The ambiguity refuses resolution, forcing each viewer to confront their own interpretation. Some find solace in believing it was a moment of healing, while others sense unresolved pain that still lingers. What is undeniable is the seismic impact it has left. Jungkook's tears were not forgotten once the performance ended. They reverberated long after, sparking countless discussions, essays, and reflections. Jin's apology, though just a single word, has become a chapter of its own in BTS's ongoing story. And ARMY, in their grief and devotion, are left with a haunting question. What truth was revealed in that exchange, and what truths remain hidden? For now, the world may never know the full weight of Jin's apology or the depth of Jungkook's sorrow. But the moment itself cannot be erased. It stands as one of the most poignant and unforgettable episodes in BTS's history, a reminder that even in their greatest triumphs, the members carry burdens that words can barely contain. And in that moment of silence, broken only by Jin's apology and Jungkook's tears, the world witnessed not idols, not performers, but two human beings confronting the fragility of their bond under the brightest lights imaginable. The aftermath of Jungkook's tears and Jin's apology has created not only an emotional storm but also a pressing need for reflection. The images and videos that circulated online were powerful, but the question must be asked, should we take these portrayals at face value, or are we witnessing a narrative constructed to provoke a particular reaction? Was this truly an unfiltered moment of vulnerability, or was it carefully framed to dominate headlines and ignite viral discussions? The spread of these clips through platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter has only intensified the confusion. Each platform carries its own echo chamber, amplifying selective perspectives while obscuring others. When millions of fans share a video, repeat a translation, or interpret an expression, does the truth become clearer or more distorted? Can we be certain that what was seen and heard was genuine, or are we consuming a performance shaped by editing, timing, and the suggestive power of repetition? Consider the force of a single word. Sorry. Stripped of context, it can mean countless things. Yet once circulated online, that word was presented as absolute evidence of guilt, regret, or reconciliation. But who decides the meaning of that apology? The member himself, the audience present in the arena, or the global community consuming it through secondhand sources? If we are basing our judgment on a clip shortened to seconds, what truths are being lost? This raises a critical issue. Are fans interpreting reality, or are they consuming a spectacle designed for them? The emotional response is undeniable, but the intention remains elusive. Was Jungkook's breakdown a spontaneous reaction that revealed unspoken fractures, or was it magnified by the pressure of performance, heightened by cameras seeking the most dramatic angle? And if it was staged, partially or entirely, what does that suggest about the relationship between artists and their audience? We must also confront the possibility of sensationalism. In the era of viral content, every tear, every pause, every word is dissected and reframed for maximum impact. Headlines multiply, articles reinterpret, fans re-edit footage for engagement. But when the machine of attention takes over, does the truth survive intact, or does it vanish beneath layers of exaggeration? Could this moment be less about reality and more about sustaining relevance, keeping the spotlight fixed on a group that cannot afford to fade from public memory, and yet the intensity of the reaction cannot be dismissed? Thousands in the arena wept with Jungkook. Millions online felt the weight of Jin's apology. Does the collective response itself become a kind of truth, regardless of intention? Even if orchestrated, does the authenticity of the fans' emotions give the moment its real meaning? Or is that precisely the danger? That audiences mistake orchestrated drama for reality, blurring the line between performance and confession. These questions demand critical engagement from every observer. Are we, as consumers of media, too eager to believe in raw authenticity when in fact we may be witnessing a carefully managed script? Or conversely, are we too cynical, dismissing genuine expressions of pain as mere tactics of publicity? If skepticism dominates, do we risk erasing moments of true vulnerability? And if blind trust prevails, do we become participants in a cycle of manipulation? The truth is that the answers are not simple, and perhaps they will never be fully known. What matters is how we, as an audience, choose to process and respond. Do we demand clearer evidence before declaring a moment as history? Do we pause before amplifying narratives that may not reflect reality? Do we question our own role in the machinery of viral culture that thrives on half-truths and emotional spectacle? In the end, the footage of Jin's apology and Jungkook's tears will remain. Its emotional weight will continue to echo, but the responsibility falls on each viewer to interpret carefully, skeptically, and reflectively. Is this memory a mirror of truth, or a mirage crafted by media and magnified by fandom? The challenge is not merely to feel, but to think, to resist the easy comfort of immediate belief, and to embrace the discomfort of critical doubt. We must ask ourselves, what did we really witness? Was it the unfiltered sorrow of two artists confronting hidden pain, or a masterful performance engineered to draw tears and dominate global conversation? And most importantly, why are we so willing, or perhaps so desperate, to believe one version of the story over the other? Until those questions are answered, the moment remains both unforgettable and unresolved, a perfect symbol of our times, where truth and performance collide, and where the responsibility to discern reality no longer belongs to the stage, but to the audience itself.